you, Chairman Orr, Commissioners. This time of year, we make the rounds, go visit our county commissions just to give you all some updates and some highlights of the work we are doing. We have a copy of our annual report in front of you, and then also just to thank you all for your partnership and your support. One of the ways that we are supported is through dues that our counties and our towns pay to our organization. Those go to help us match state and federal funding that help with our operations, but also help the programs that we're able to pass on to local governments. This year, we collected about $155,000 in dues from our local governments. That will help us. We'll be able to leverage that. Right now, we're on pace to bring in about $15 million into the region with that, so almost $100 for every dollar we collect in dues. But it's not just about collecting money or bringing money into the region, but it's about the impact we have. And so our mission is to improve the quality of life in the region. And we do that through the work of our three departments, which are Community and Economic Development, Workforce Development, and our Area Agency on Aging. Our Area Agency on Aging helps provide funding for meals for older adults in your community. They also provide funding for respite care for those that are taking care of a loved one. And they also help to organize events like elder abuse awareness walks across the region and the senior celebration, which is coming up September 30th of this month and is being held in Swain County. Across the region last year, we provided over 175,000 meals and over $83,000 in respite care. Over 11,000 of those meals were in Graham County and over 350 hours of respite care for citizens of Graham County. Our Community and Economic Development Department continues to focus on two key issues affecting all our communities across the region, which are housing and broadband. Over the last 3 years, we've helped write grants with internet service providers that brought service to Graham County in the amount of over $800,000, and that provided service to 532 households in the counties that lack broadband service. We also helped start the Southwestern NC Home Consortium that gives us an annual allocation of funding to start addressing the housing issue across the region. And we just announced the first round of funding for that program. 2 of those will affect Graham County. One of those was $45,000 to Foursquare for rental repair for affordable housing, and also $125,000 to the Rural Development Authority to support the high school program that builds affordable housing. One interesting story as we went through that process of funding those, we had representatives from across the region, and as we got to some of the last projects, the Rural Development Authority project, we didn't have enough money left to fund that entire project at the amount that it was going to be funded or needed. And so Haywood County, the Haywood County reps in that meeting basically said they had other money they could put toward the housing project that had been funded for their county, and they allocated an extra $50,000 to the project in Graham County. So it's a great example of what we want to see in the region, the folks looking out for other people, and in that case, Haywood County using some of their own money so that Graham County would get another project. Our Workforce Development Department supports employers in the region by offering training funds. This could be on-the-job training for people who've been out of work. And if an employer is willing to take a chance with them, we can help offset some of the costs. And also we've got funds to train up existing employees that may have a skills gap or something the employer needs them to be able to do. We also support the NC Work Centers. And recently we started a peer support specialist at the NC Work Center. And these are folks that have been through addiction and are in recovery themselves. They can be there to help people who are in active recovery from addiction to not only get employment, but to maintain that employment and kind of help them navigate that system. One other update that, and you all should receive invitations to all of our board meetings. We have the next one on Monday at 6:30 at Harris Convention Center. And we'll have Kevin Leonard from the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners talking about the opioid settlement and some of the particulars of that funding, as I know counties are starting to plan for that. So those are just a couple of high-level highlights from some of the work we're doing right now. If you all have any questions, I'll try to answer them. If I don't have answers, I'll get back to you.
I've worked with Southwestern Commission for a few years now, and it is indeed a wonderful help for the 7 western counties. And I believe all of the federal and state monies that are funded for the 7 western counties flow through the Southwestern Commission. Is that
in those areas? There may be some other, outside of workforce or economic development or aging, but primarily that's the way it's set up.
And that's great news about the school getting the $125,000 to build a carpentry project, and their first project will be over in the Azalea Hills RDA development. So we're really pleased about that.
And other counties certainly recognize that as one of the more innovative projects, because not only are you building a house for somebody that needs one, but you're training future workforce, which is another issue when it comes to addressing housing right now.
And I think Jacob, for one, being a business owner himself, could speak to workforce issues here. Kind of give people an idea of what you're dealing with.
It's hard to get people to work. It's the biggest challenge right now.
Yeah, I think, unemployment rate right now is 5%. There's not a lot of, at this point, it's like having people in addiction to work. It's about expanding the workforce a little bit, looking at folks traditionally that might be sitting on the sidelines and helping them get back in, because, we need the help.
Russ, I've got a question. I have someone gave me the agreement between Southwestern Commission and Graham County Provision of Economic Development Technical Services System. Maybe September. Is that agreement been signed?
No, not to my knowledge. I think we're.
What? I reviewed it. It looks fine to me. I don't believe it needs any more work.
Did you find any problems with anything that needs to be changed?
No, I think it's fine. In case that was one of the things you were here to do.
It wasn't, but that's also, that's an ongoing issue. So while I'm here.
I think they were going to change the date that was previously listed on it and resend back.
Okay, that's it.
And then it was approved, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you all for your support and your partnership.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Russ. And this is a bit of a pilot program.
Absolutely.
What we're doing in Graham County, you might speak a little bit to that, Russ, and the response that you got from the rural authority.
Yeah, absolutely. We just, to the workforce issue, we know it's not always easy to hire everybody we need at the local level, and then also the question of whether or not, does every community need an economic development person sitting here 5 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year paying benefits for that person? And I'm not necessarily giving the answer to that question, but I think that's the question we asked. Is there a way to do this at the regional level and to possibly share positions that makes more sense for the county? And it's kind of a win-win for everybody involved. So that's what we're looking at. We talked to the Rural Center. We talked to Dan Gerlach the other day about this concept, and I think folks at the state level kind of excited about the possibility, not just for Graham County, but for counties they deal with in the eastern part of the state that are in a similar situation.
Thank you. I think we've seen an interest throughout the state of doing the same thing. Because you have the experts in your agency.
Right.
So that's a good help when you can't find people you can even want to train or want to get trained. So it's a good time, I believe, for this pilot to come to us. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything further? Manager?
I think there's nothing else for that subject. Thank you.
Russ did bring us an annual report from the Southwestern Commission, and I'm not sure if any of the visitors would like to have one. I can acquire one for you. Have one. I'll get another. Okay, and if there's nothing further, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. We'll call the Board of County Commissioners meeting to order. September the 20th, 2022, our meeting. Members of the County Board of Commissioners are advised hereby of their duty under the state government and tax to avoid conflicts of interest and the adherence of such conflicts, and further are instructed to refrain from participating in any matter coming before this Board of County Commissioners with respect to which there is a conflict of interest or the appearance of such conflict. And Commissioner Nels, I'll ask you to end the presentation, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day. Thank you for all your many blessings, God. I thank you for watching over us, keeping us safe. God, I pray for your blessings and mercy on anyone that is sick or lost loved one, God. I pray that you go with us through this week, Lord. Lead God, direct our thoughts and our decisions. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just Madam Chair, there is, I'd like to add 12A. We'll call Gavin Culver, Sanitation Director. That is the only.
Add chair order to 17. Chair order to number 17.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that down there. And we'll add to number 17, after Attorney Cowell, will be Chair Orr. That was on there, and I missed it. My apologies.
No problem at all. Okay. Nothing further?
Nothing further.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda as stated. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? All right. Does anyone need additional information to look over the minutes? Okay. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the workshop and regular meeting minutes of August the 16th, the continued meeting of August the 23rd, the special meeting of September the 1st, and the emergency meeting of September the 8th. Do I hear a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you. Wiggins, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay. Now we'll ask for a motion to close the regular meeting and open a public hearing for the 2023 schedule of values. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Randy?
I think Chris Ferris is going to be speaking. Our tax assessor forgot.
All right,
Yeah.
Doctors.
I'll have a chance to look up the schedule of items. Did y'all have the opportunity to look at the schedule of items?
Yes, I have. Does anyone need additional time to look at the schedule of that? Everybody's good, I think, Chris.
Without being said, I don't have anything else to say. We haven't added anything to them. We haven't added anything to them or anything, so y'all are okay with the schedule like this, then we're good to go.
So you have added nothing or taken anything away, so it would be ready for a vote, is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then I'll entertain a vote.
No, not until we come out of public hearing. We have to come out of public hearing first.
Yes, I do. We only do this with you. Can I please hear a motion to come out of the public hearing? Thank you. A second, please. All in favor? Entertain a motion to approve the schedule of values, please. Have a motion, is there a second? All in favor? Okay. Thank you very much.
Chris.
All right,
Thank y'all.
thank you, Chris. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your hard work. Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm not taking your calls, okay?
Are you sure?
Don't have one. What? The schedule of values?
You'll support you with one here.
You know where I'd find it? Let's get the tax. I'll try. Okay. And I got your tape.
And have you
I come before you to ask permission to apply for the 2023 general purpose grant in the amount of $10,901, local match 25% at $3,634. The total is $14,535.
Do I hear a motion to approve application of this grant, please? Second? Thank you, all in favor?
Thank you.
You'll report to Ryan Stevens, our EMS director.
Hello, this is sort of some table business from the last regular meeting where we opened the bids for the ambulances. Have had the opportunity to qualify all 4 bids and I'm ready to make my recommendation. I've looked at all of them, got some clarification. The lowest bid was from Northwestern Emergency Vehicles for the sum for both ambulances for $521,070. That was the lowest bid. I feel like that's the best route to take. Talk to all the vendors. I feel like that they can give us the best customer service during the build and the best maintenance afterwards. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's the least expensive and I think the best option. So I just need permission to go ahead and apply for the PO and get the process going. We're still looking probably between 18 to 36 month delivery time, depending on the availability of the truck frames. They said that they have no issue getting trucks turned out every 120 days if they have the ambulance, the truck body to do it with. So the sooner we can get the order in and get on the list, the better off we'll be.
Thank you for your research and report on that, Brian. And I will now entertain a motion to accept the bid of Northwestern
Yes, ma'am.
Emergency Vehicle at a price of $521,070. That does include service and maintenance.
Yes, ma'am. The warranty, that includes all of the warranty work.
Do I hear a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, all in favor? Thank you.
One other point of business, I have an application for a part-time employee. Ms. Christian has the application. I don't know if we need to do that in closed or open because it's
You want to look at it after long, and you can decide after we come back out.
just let me know something. That's all I've got.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Put you over here with the commissioners. Did you hear me trying to call you just a minute ago? No.
You can call into it.
Yeah. You want to tell you what? Why don't you try to call in 479-6486? Okay. That's all right. Go ahead and call in. 479-6486. You know, yeah, if you can't get me, just call me back on the phone.
I hope I did.
That's not something that's not right. Yeah, just go ahead and we'll see if we can't make this work. I think most of the commissioners can hear you.
It's $4,000 at normal school. Tri-County will do it for $2,750. And I can't get them in June of 2023, which is my deadline. But I guess what I'm asking is if you can help them with our license or pay for that, because I don't know, it's going to be hard to work with the command, so I feel that however I'm talking. I hope what we're going to do is work about the future as far as class A driving.
Right now you have the two, not counting yourself, right, and we could potentially have four if we went and sent them for the training, correct?
Right, we sent hurricanes and driving weeds, they've got these right now, and they'll get the race. And you know, even send them one at a time, but we just need to start somewhere on the line to get people for it, because it's fine, because it's getting harder and harder to get truck number, because it's too long. And it's just the work is last what's the work is out the coast, put it on right, nice money. Not right, and they done it really cheap. I mean, you know, that don't be something to look into also. I just don't say they can tour much. We can hardly tour ourselves, it's not for the loads of my drivers. But they wasn't very, they was kind of far being, they wouldn't show up early enough to pull 2 loads a day. And it kept us behind. They wouldn't pull 1 load a day. That's my problem with that. We're reporting ourselves, we keep it up. I just feel like the license replace themselves in no time. You know, I don't know if they decide some kind of agreement that this thing's so long, take money back, or sort of that period, but this one dies and license.
Well, I would just say, Kevin, thank you for bringing that to our attention, and I would like to get some feedback from the board and also from the finance officer where we stand there, and give it some good thorough discussion, and then get back with you, Gavin. Would that be okay with the board to table this, give it full consideration, and look at all the facts and make a determination as to what our best path forward would be?
Yeah, I just want to bring this to because, like I said, the signs up and run out of the program right now. The last meeting, same thing.
Thank you very much. We love good news. No, we appreciate you being on top of things, and that works well better for all of us. Thank you, Gavin.
Okay, just got one more second. I want to tell test or study on whether we can manage or what we can do with it. I recommend first house Saturday. It was clean as paint, and I've been ready for one Murphy, he helped us in Cherokee County. And he was sitting on the ground, and boy, he just cleaned it up. I made it like that, like about Cherokee County with it. And the man who got into it, I don't want to come around to that. I mean, if it's not done, because the taxpayers of this county is paying, Cherokee County's driving the fire.
If, Becky, would you take just a moment to speak on how the trash in Cherokee County is handled, and it will pretty much explain why our neighbors are coming to see us so very often?
Yes, they cut their convenience sites down to just a few. We used to have one in every small community. When they built the new landfill in Marble, for pretty much all of Andrews, there is one site, and that's at the landfill. There is another site over in Granny Squirrel, but it is manned, so you can't just go at any point and take your garbage. So I'm guessing that a lot of people on the Topton side are coming to Bear Creek just because they don't want to drive to Marble.
And I think there is a tax also.
Yes, yes. Yes, we have a sanitation tax in addition to a fire tax. So up until this year when their mill rate went up, they showed us a lower mill rate, but then when you add back the sanitation piece and the fire piece, they're pretty much were at the same rate as we were.
We certainly want to be good neighbors, and at the same time, we want to be fair to the constituents and the citizens of this county at the same time. So, thank you, Kevin. We certainly do need to give that consideration, and once again, get a path forward on some action there.
Yeah, that's fire guard, it's C&D and that type of stuff, and they're just piled on the ground. I mean, they're really taking advantage of it. It's my biggest problem. I mean, and we have the same problem with 28 fire bridges or I think one that's on our seats of fire. But I won't get into all that stuff in my roads and make it aware of that. Before we get started, maybe working on stuff.
We have talked about it before, and I think probably all of us here at this table have met folks, and I mean, I've seen shingles, old wood off of, I guess, sheds or houses just dumped up there, and when you start talking to the folks, and then Halen is the place that I usually find that they are from. That is Cherokee County. It's not that we don't want to be courteous to them, but at the same time, we want to be fair to our own citizens here.
Yeah, and it ain't the work plan, it's job security for us, we're cleaning it up, it just, it's costing the taxpayers here to get rid of our stuff. But anyway, that's all I have, I appreciate your time.
Any of y'all have anything with Gavin? Forget Gavin, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, we are now ready for the finance officer. Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry. I think I got manager.
Thank you. I really miss you.
That's all right.
It's
all right. We're over there. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight and good evening to the board. I've got a few things I'll go over, touch on a few things we've talked about. So I'll buzz over some of the things that we've sort of had conversations about, maybe just give some updates and then go from there. At the top of the page, real quickly, and you should have a back side of your page for manager's report. Just an update on the plan objection, which is to say, the forest plan objection, which is to say basically there is no update other than they did post the videos and all the information I was able to find to look for that. Like I
presented last month, and I provided a link if you want to go to the site and look at the videos and any of the information. Actually, all the planning, the forest plan objection stuff is there as well. And I emailed Hayden Forest, and we're still looking to talk to them about another meeting prior to the October when they release the final. So as soon as I get that date, I'll provide it to the board.
What was the last day?
Would have been that August the 3rd, and then there was the final was on August the 4th. They sat in just for the closeout to get the information from them, and that was the last time we met with the Forest Service on August the 4th on Thursday. All right, if there are no questions with that, we'll move on to the Cdbg grants update. This is going to be the neighborhood revitalization. I'll read down some of the good things that are happening for that. We are moving forward, although it seems to be a crawling pace. But the good news is we do have a lot of things that are in place. And with that, procurement is complete for surveying, environmental, and legal services following a lengthy process to obtain sole source procurement approval from NC Commerce. This was necessary due to the lack of response after 3 rounds of advertising. In addition, the housing specialist has been identified. There was 1 proposal received in 3 rounds of advertising. We have requested sole source procurement approval from North Carolina Commerce. This is a federal procurement requirement. Income verification and final applications, as well as the Cdbg guidelines, have been sent to the homeowners. We have gotten 3 applications returned from homeowners, and income has been verified. When the housing specialist is placed, site visits will occur, and the bidding process will take place for the work. Commerce has issued a 4th extension due to delays caused by COVID, procurement issues, and Commerce not being fully staffed. Following the review, we will review the total grant budget to determine if any additional projects can be undertaken. Ms. Becky worked with our grant administrator last week, last Thursday and Friday, and based on where we are currently, they feel that the project will be complete within the extended time frame. However, they are prepared to work with Commerce as contingencies arise. We feel that we are finally moving off start with the project that has been long and frustratingly slow. We did meet, as I said, with a lady from Withers Ravenel who's working with us on the contract. And I'll let Ms. Becky, if you've got anything before I move on to the coronavirus, Cdbg, if you had anything you wanted to talk about.
No, I was just awfully glad to work with it's Mary Glasscock, and she has a long career with the state of North Carolina. She worked with DPS, Department of Public Safety, for several years, and she mentioned another places. She's got a wealth of knowledge and infrastructure grants and federal dollars. And I believe she mentioned to our committee, the committee that chose the survey, that she is very willing to work with us as we move forward on any project we have that could bring in federal money. So I was really excited to work with her. Yes.
We both spent quite a bit of time with her last week, and I felt like there was a lot of productivity and a lot of things got accomplished, and she was able to sit with us and get where we thought things needed to be, and she understood what we were talking about. So I felt really good and positive out of that conversation and the meeting.
I know that has to be a week for everybody.
Yes.
Thank you all for your patience during this whole process.
Absolutely. All right. So I'll move on to the Cdbg, the CB they call it. It's the coronavirus grant funds. There's really no change, and I'll let Ms. Becky verify this. There's no change really to the schools or the Imagination Hub. Those basically segments of those are pretty much complete. I'll probably take those off.
Correct.
Yeah.
The only thing on the schools is that part of their grant is their monthly fee for the hot spots that we pay out of grant funds 100%, and there's another probably 10 or 12 months of that money sitting there. Imagination Station is complete, so we can't take them off.
Yeah. We'll take them off for the next report.
Yes.
Because it's really not going to change. And then we'll move on to the senior center. The good news is, and again, meeting with Ms. Glassbach back last week, she agreed on the design build portion. So I'll be working with the administrator and Commerce on getting the approval to move forward with a design build contract. So we'll be able to go out for contracts on our senior center and get that out. I'm hoping either this month or the first of next month. We should be able to do that. So that's good news there. The Grace Place, moving down to the bottom, other change is the Board of Commissioners approved changing of that budget to include additional construction work moving that money. Now we're just waiting for the budget change under review by NC Commerce. See if they'll approve that, and then Grace Place will be able to move forward with it. Under EMS training, procurement is complete. The vendor has been approved by the grant committee, and the process of completing the appropriate paperwork is underway for EMS to order the equipment. They have selected state-of-the-art training mannequin. That's obviously more good things that's coming to our EMS department, so we're absolutely ecstatic about that. If there are no questions about the Cdbg, we'll move on. All right, next item. As commissioners are aware, Lake Santee cleanup is taking place Saturday the 24th. The commissioners graciously agreed to waive the dump fees, and we'll continue with that, regardless if it's a roll-off dumpster, if they bring trucks that people we know that are working and bring it to sanitation. We will be open until 5 p.m. on Saturday to help with anything they bring. It'll be dump waive fees. I did find out today, Ms. Maxine and Ed called me and said the Forest Service would not allow anything other than one roll-off dumpster at each site under that permit. So they would not allow us to put our 4 cans at each site, and we won't need somebody going back and forth, unfortunately, to help them. I have a feeling if you go down over the first bridge, there's going to be a lot of trash on Saturday, and only 1 can to fill it, so that's going to be hard. There'll be some other folks that'll probably have to help and bring some stuff to our sanitation department, but we will help in any way we can to take that garbage and make sure we're helping clean it up, unfortunately. Okay, if there's no questions, I'll touch a little bit. I've got Mr. Shook is here also. I'm glad to have him here to talk a little bit about the interlocal agreement participation. I provided hard copies to the commissioners. Myself and Ms. Garland looked it over from last year, and you guys have the draft for next year. As I say, the interlocal agreement is up for renewal, and we need to renew it before the end of the month, it's the 30th of September. So I've provided a draft, and basically, if you don't see anything that you saw that you need to change or want it added to, we just need Commissioner's approval. And Mr. Shook, I'll turn it over to you, and you're welcome to say what you need to do.
Well, thank you very much for having me here tonight. I definitely appreciate you taking the consideration to look this over. This is an agreement that we've probably done this since the 70s, honestly, every decade. And this is just another milestone for me, and in my opinion, to for us to say thank you for your participation in this. And we are the oldest regional library system in the state of North Carolina. I'm not sure if you know that. We are 82 this year. We started in 1940, and us mountain people were the first to be innovative and out of desperation, I'm sure, and to share our resources and to provide better library service to all of our community members. So we appreciate you being a big part of that. You've been a long-standing part of that for over 80 years. So this agreement is something that's recommended to us by the state. We have 12 regional libraries in the state of North Carolina, and most of their agreements look almost exactly the same. I tried to update some of the wording that was specific to our regional library system, but nothing more than just this is who we are, our mission statement, things like that. The very function of the agreement is all the same as it has been. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to answer.
One of the things is you've just come on board with the carbon system, and so that's a plus for it's all across the state. whole system.
Absolutely, and I could spend a lot of time talking to you about what we've done since I've been here. I've been director for 3 years, and we joined UNC Cardinal back in February. Before that, we were sharing 200,000 physical items. Now we're sharing 7.7 million items across the state. You can check out a book from the east part of the state on the coast, and they will ship it to your library, and you can come pick it up. So it's just a great program. Created a little bit of restructure for us, but we're happy to be a part of it. We also added a bigger ebook collection too. It's over 40,000 ebooks that you can access through the Overdrive app, Libby, and you can also have those downloaded to your Kindle device. So it's very easy to use, very user friendly, and we're just happy to have more access to our mountain residents. Another thing I wanted to point out, if I can have 60 seconds here. We're looking at doing some advocacy on the state side to ask our representatives and our senators to, in the budget process next year, look at our recurring state money that we receive from the state of North Carolina. Over the last 14 years, it's decreased by about 10%. This is the recurring money. If you compare that to our education in the same time period, that's increased 50%, close to it. And so we're hoping to have some. I'm a part of a directors association that has a lobbyist, so we're looking at having a good, clear, all-together message to voice support for the increase of state money on a recurring basis. That's only going to help us. And so I'd like to ask the commissioners in the future, if we get to that point, I'd like to have some letters of support, going toward the state in that regard. But other than that, just come to your library, get a library card, and come make use of us. We really like to have you there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, I guess we would ask if the commissioners did want to go ahead and sign that agreement. I think you had the copies of the final with you to sign if they did.
Yeah, it's no different from the draft. So it just doesn't have the word draft on it. So if you want to sign it now, or you want to wait till after the meeting?
It's up to the commissioners. You want to entertain signing that interlocal agreement now?
Is there a motion to sign the interlocal agreement, or?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? All in favor?
All right, thank you very much.
You just have one copy.
I said one copy with me, but when I get all parties to sign the agreement, I'll give everybody a copy also. So we'll have a copy as soon as it's done. I'll be chasing those down this week and next week, so I'm staying.
You got to get people in multiple counties to sign.
I have 3 counties and 5 towns. Outstanding. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
That was my only source of books on the little dirt road that I grew up on Beach Street during the summertime. School months, I could read library at school. But in the summertime, we had a lady who kept the library, and the truck ran by her house about every 2 or 3 months. I'm not even sure how much, but she always had books. And we got all our chores done. We could walk a mile down to her house and get a book to read. So it's fond memories. That was our entertainment. It was good.
That's one of the.
Thank you for coming by.
We still have that service, believe it or not.
I know. It's awesome.
So it runs in Graham County one week, about every 4 most of the time. So remember
The library up there on the corner, we'll turn it up to First Baptist Church. As a little kid, yep.
We got ours off the book and wheels. You go to church, so one of those routes, one of the routes up to the stop, once a month. There you go, yeah.
It's good for the community, so thank you. No, that's fine. I love those memories. That was sort of my stomping ground as a down rat. That's where we're running around. Always had to have the Snyders in the library to go in and see what was in there. Okay. All right. So last item, and I think we'll also probably touch on it in the discussion items. I provided the email that should have been with my report that talks about the decision on the waterfalls, the naming in Graham County. The U.S. Board on Geographic Names at its August 11th meeting approved the proposals to apply the names Santitla Bluff Falls and Stewart Falls to two waterfalls in Graham County. The third proposal from the Graham County Board of Commissioners for the name Bemis Camp Falls was deferred to a future meeting. I have not heard about when that future meeting is planned to be, but with those falls in that email, you do have the location where it shows it in the points where those are located. So we'll actually touch on those probably again in the discussion items and shortly. If there's nothing else to go, we'll move forward on that. If no questions on the manager's report, I'll run through the project manager's report. You should have a copy of that as well on your desk. Run through these quickly. There's not a whole lot of change. Good news on number one, guardrail is complete, so I'm reporting about 99%. It's pretty much 99.9 or 99.5. We're waiting on final invoicing and making sure there's anything. We got a little bit of grassing that we could have that we want to finish, but the project is basically complete. Guardrail looks good, and we're excited about getting started with our RDA housing project. Both the metal buildings, still waiting on some mechanical numbers that I want to bring to the board. I haven't received those yet, so we're still a little bit on hold. Other than the site civil was completed at both buildings, we had all of the drainage structures put in at the health department. Excuse me, it's the recreation up there next to the health department building. And we had a structure and some piping, and all the seating was done to both buildings. It really looks good. So about 100% on the outside. We just got to get in and finish all the inside. We've done the rough end framing for the cemetery and the plumbing. We haven't started framing yet. I have some information I need to give to the board before we start on the recreation building. And I'm waiting for mechanical. We have all the MEPs, we have electrical is awarded and the framing's awarded and the plumbing's awarded. I'm just waiting on mechanical numbers to provide to the board to do that. Yeah, that's correct. I've expected some numbers already, and it's a matter of me trying to pull that information from them and get us something I can get in front of the board.
Does our builder have enough for everything?
Yeah, he's got enough to be able to do. And it's what's really worked out well is that what we've planned is while they're doing the framing, he moves over to the other building, and then they can do the rough end. And then by that time we move over to the other building, we can get inspected, then insulated, and then they can move forward. Yeah, that's right. Matter of just like I'll report in the next item, we're about 65% in item number 4, which is the women's restroom. All the rough end is done. I think Commissioner Nelms, as a building inspector, inspected it. The rough end's done. All they got to do now is finish prepping all the walls where they opened everything up. And we're waiting on material. I was expecting all the material this week. It's been pushed, as you know, with ordering until next week. So all the tile to finish up the bathroom is probably be here next week. And I expect after that everything should be a little bit more quick to be complete because of those delays. No questions so far. I'll move on to item 5, which is the Justice Center. And as everybody remembers, we've got the committee is set. I've scheduled the first engineering firm for this Friday, Mosley Architects. They will be presenting in person in this room Friday 23rd at 10 a.m. We're excited about that. Well, an example of the package that I've provided to the committee members, which is myself, Clerk Holloway, Ms. Garland, Commissioner Eller, and Commissioner Nelms. It's based off of our RFQ that we submitted, and then a grade sheet that goes off the criteria of that RFQ is provided as well. And then we have 3 very well qualified companies that provided their qualifications. They're all experienced in the kind of construction that we need for the new Justice Center. So we're extremely excited about getting this process moving forward. So I just wanted to report on that. Between probably now and next week, we will have completed all of our presentation interviews with the companies. The committee will then meet again and base their grading off of not only our criteria that we've provided in our RFQ, but what we learned from those presentations. The committee will make a decision, and then we'll provide that decision to the board for further review as to how they want to proceed. If there's no questions on the new Justice Center. Number 6, I've provided the update at the school. Again, the middle school, again, I encourage if you guys can get out there and take a look at it. It's really going to be special for the kids. They're getting close to being complete. They're showing right now at 89% complete. Their contract extension went out to December, but I foresee them being done probably in October, unless there's any more delays with any kind of finished material, or if there's a delay on ordering of concrete, which I can't believe. I lived in a lifetime where there's 6 to 8 weeks on ordering concrete. Amazing. It's amazing. But very, very nice facility, and it's going to be really special for middle school kids. Next item is item 7. There's 2 things that we want to look at here. And we might even, if we can make it in time, we may not be able to make it in time during close to discuss contract. But we did apply for both items, the snagging and the bank stabilization, to NRCS to try to help with bringing that number up. We haven't heard back from them. I was hoping to have something to report tonight to see if they were going to add money to that, but we haven't heard. And we would be able to cover, if Jonathan has been willing and has a presentation that I'll provide some of the things that he's working on, because it's contractual. It'll go into closed session. And if he doesn't, he has another meeting to go in tonight. If not, I'll get him to provide an email and I'll get that out to you so we can go forward on that. The second item is I contacted the state on the STRAP funds, and I was told at least some good news as to what it sounds like, that the $264,000 that they have that I'm in the process of applying for, they want to verify, and I'll start that communication email-wise, but as long as it's for debris removal, which is where we came up short, we may apply that money to this contract, which is very good news. And I have until October the 21st to verify that. So I'll be working pretty hard on seeing how we can make sure that we can put that against the money. That drops that money amount as well that we need. And I also again talked to Senator Corbin, and he called me about having some money. I will give him a phone call too. So I'll call him back tomorrow and tell him the same thing after I was able to talk to the state, give him an idea of how much money it was. So we're working that issue, and we're hoping we can get that thing resolved here really soon.
When we met with him and Mr. Leslie, I know Kevin agreed that he would get us some additional funding on that.
And he did. He called me back and was asking, and I wanted to verify with our engineer and the state as to what that minimum number, that we are maximum, I should say, that he needed to ask for. So I'll give him that number now that I've got a better idea. Really good. Moving on, number 8 is the Hamels Pool and Spa. I still anticipate them starting this month. It could be the beginning of October, but they did come up and do a pre-deployment site survey, is what I call it, to see what the site looked like. So a representative's already been here, told them what they wanted the pool deck to look like when they show up, start doing the work. That's positive. So I anticipate being able to get the pool recovered and be ready for spring, no problem, for us to open the pool on time. Then the last item is number 9, with the commissioners approving the AST, or the asphalt surface treatment. They got a DocuSign, myself and the finance officer, Ms. Garland, got a DocuSign. After the commissioners have approved it, we've signed our portion. We're waiting on the documents to come back from DOT, CDOT. They made it, they indicated that we could probably start those parts that work in the fall, that work better in a little bit colder weather this fall, and then the parts they need a little bit warmer weather will be in spring 23. So that's our anticipated schedule of work for that. A lot of good things happening in Graham County. Excited to see those things to fruition. Unless there are any questions or comments for me, that's all I have. Yes, Madam Chair.
One thing, back up to the cemetery project. I think we spoke last meeting about the sidewalk and maybe getting together at some point in time with Lovelace about taking a look at steps. Have you had a chance?
Yes, over at the Old Mother. Yes, I did. And we're going to do the ramp. That's scheduled for I want to say October 20th. They have concrete scheduled to do the ramp for the Old Mother Church for the cemetery department. Yes, so we are planning to move forward with that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. That's all I have.
I can't see you in my glasses. I think I can see you. Right.
Thank you. Good evening. We've got the finance report through August 31st of 2022. And I'll go through the numbers on my template that I have that we provided to the public as well as to the board. We reconciled our general fund bank accounts for the month of August 31st at $8,395,637.14. I am happy to report that our cash balance has rebounded. If you'll recall, last month we were a little bit lower than this time last year. However, we are now at about $229,000 ahead of where we were this time last year. So I'm real pleased with that. Most everything is good news, but there are a few little problems that we've got that I'll go through. If you look below, you'll see our 4 North Carolina Capital Management Trust accounts. Our capital projects account is now standing at $2,917,885. The school capital project is at $114,710. Our American Rescue Plan is still sitting at $902,506, and then our SCIF courthouse grant money is now at $5,022,972. So you'll see since May we've been able to add a little less than $23,000 to that account in interest on the Capital Management Trust. Just to give you some perspective, for the month our total interest earned on those accounts was a little over $17,500. And for the year to date, we are a little shy of $30,000. So I am really pleased with how those accounts are bearing now. If you'll recall, during the pandemic, we were able to hit pennies, so these accounts are rebounding. If you look on page 3, you will see our property tax collections for the month of August. Still lagging a little behind at this time last year. Our current year taxes were $486,090. Prior year collections were $28,868. This time last year, we collected $520 in current and a little shy of $21,000 in prior. So we are running a little below this time last year. We collected a total of $514,900 for the month. This time last year was $541,200. DMV is still looking healthy. It is a little lower than this time last year, with a little above $60,000. So looking on page 4, you will see that we've collected a little over $1.3 million in real property taxes for the year, and a little shy of $126,000 in DMV. You will see that we are about $117,400 below this time last year in real property taxes, and staying pretty much even in DMV being a little ahead by $4,800. Our collection rate at the end of August was 17.43%. This time last year it was at 20.17%. And my feel is there's two things. Our levy is just a little bit higher than last year, the total taxable property and our utilities that we discovered this past month. That's pushing that percentage down just a little, but I think inflation, people are having to choose to buy their gas and their groceries. And so it's made it difficult, especially for our elderly population, to be able to come in and pay their taxes early. Typically, most of our elderly taxpayers, they're our most faithful ones, they'll come in July or early August at the minute the tax bills come in. But when you got medicine and groceries and gas to buy, you have to, the budget, the whole budget takes a hit. If you'll look on page 6, you'll see our operating results for August. It's got it highlighted in green and yellow. Revenues collected for the month of August were $1,544,005. Our expenditures were a little over $1.7 million. So we have a deficit of $157.3. However, for the year, we have a surplus of a little under $350,000. This time last year, we were in the negative by $300,000. This time last year, we were buying stadium lights and doing a lot of projects. So that pushed our operating results down. Page 7, good news on the sales tax front, but it's double-edged sword because sales tax is not only a function of people spending, but if the prices are higher, then that's going to push our sales tax up. We collected, aside from the quarter cent, $276,937. This time last month we collected $259.9. This time last year we collected $254. So we are running at a positive variance of a little under $30,000 from this time last year. And if you look at the bottom, you'll see that I added another $27,000 to the amount of money we collected in that quarter cent. Since we began the quarter cent, we have collected $809,000 toward that courthouse. And just for our taxpayers to know that money, quarterly I move into that capital management trust account so that it's safe. And we know it's not, it's segregated and it's earmarked for our courthouse. Page 8, you'll see our property taxes. Tax office is still working diligently to get those back taxes paid, and you'll see where those stand. Is there any questions? Okay, and you'll note I did not update capital projects because I'm very naughty right now, so you'll probably see those next month. I do have your budget report, and budget's looking fine. Almost all of our departments are staying well within budget. We should have 84% left in the budget. If you look on the third page of that report, you'll see that we have 86% of our budget remaining. A couple of the departments are running a little ahead, but it's explainable. Election board's running ahead because they've had to buy ballots and spend the money for the annual maintenance on the tabulator. Mapping, we pay our ESRI fees, which allows us to be able to pull up the GIS. The sheriff's office has been really busy. You'll see a budget amendment with doing spend out on their grants. They've done a tremendous job this past year in obtaining grants. It's been probably at least $150,000 to $175,000 of grant money that they brought in, which is helping to enhance their programs. And then you'll note recreation is always a little ahead this time of year because we've got fall sports going on. So we had to pay big dollars out for helmets and reconditioning on the pads. So at this point, the budget's looking good. The departments are doing a great job in staying within their spending. And I do have some budget amendments. I've got budget amendment number 2. It should be in the back of your packet. This is to recognize one of the sheriff's grants. This is the ICAC grant, which is Internet Crimes Against Children grant. This is allowing the sheriff's office to obtain more training. We've had one of our officers get polygraph trained with this grant. We've been able to get more surveillance equipment. And as I said, that's for $74,616. And then amendment number 3 is regarding the senior center. They have their scope fundraiser, so we've added $33.85 to that program. Scope is the Senior Center of Excellence program. And then as Ms. Wanda stated, we got a little bit more general purpose money, $278. We'll take it. So this is to recognize the revenue and additional expenditures in the senior center of $3,663. And then the 4th budget amendment relates to the wells that we're having to drill at the old landfill. If you'll recall, during the budget workshops, we did not have a good handle on the cost of what those wells were going to be. So this is to amend to recognize the potential total cost. We have to drill 3 wells of a total of $61,900. So with that being said, if the board would entertain these amendments, finance will be very thankful.
Okay, I will entertain a motion for amendment number 2, the Sheriff's Department, and amendment number 3, the Senior Center Department, and amendment number 4, the old landfill for sanitation. Is there a motion? Thank you. Is there a second, please? Thank you. All in favor?
Yeah, just have a few FYIs from the finance side. We received our second allotment of opioid money the 15th of September, and that was a total of $51,361.85. That was a little bit more than what the state projected. So apparently the attorney fees that had to be paid were not quite as much. And that will be placed in the National Opioid Settlement Special Revenue Bank account for later appropriation. And then I also completed our first reporting cycle with that money today. And also, as we were sitting in here, I completed the COM report for the imaging equipment. So you can see finance is very busy. We're a little over halfway finished with our prep for the auditors to come in the middle of October. So we are staying busy working grants and paying bills and getting ready for audits and doing special reports. I also have one item in addition that will need board action. As you'll recall, we had to purchase a new wide format printer for mapping a few months ago, and we are ready to surplus the old machine, which is basically junk. It costs more to fix it than to, if you'll remember, it costs more to fix it than to purchase one. So I would ask the board to allow us to surplus this so we can junk it.
I'll entertain a motion to surplus the old printer as Becky stated. Used from it. Is there a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. All in favor?
Thank you. That's all I have.
Any questions? We do have more public comments. Ms. Connie Rose.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. August 4th, we had out of town in Lake Tempelo, we had a fundraiser for station number 3, the volunteer fire department. And they were trying to build a new building there, and I believe their costs are up around $80,000. So in conversation with Chief Johnson, he was speaking about the possibility. I asked him, what about a grant of sorts to build your building and get the equipment you need? He says, we don't have anybody to write them. Well, a friend of mine is a retired school principal, and she is willing to write a grant for the volunteer fire department. Well, that's just the beginning. I need now, and your permission, to be able to have someone write a grant, research, find a grant that's appropriate for volunteer fire station number 3 to either help with their building fund or some other cost factor so that they can contribute more money to their building. But I do believe I have to, since they're Graham County property, I need to ask your permission through the county to allow us to go after a grant for them.
Maybe what is our process on that? Would that be entirely?
It would just be for the board to approve for them to write the grant, and then, you know, whatever technical assistance I need to provide, just to.
Will the funding need to be run through the finance?
Since the fire departments, fire departments really are their own entity.
They are.
They have their own nonprofits set up. So and I know Santigla has its own 501c3. So they would probably want to apply through the 501c3, and if they would administer, I would just provide whatever technical assistance they might need on the finance piece.
I don't think the commissioners would have any participation in that, since you are a non-profit organization.
Okay, well, I wanted to make sure I was doing it the right way.
They'll have to check whenever they start to write the grant to see whether they can write through Santee or if they have to go through Grant County to satellite market.
That's what I wanted to check with you all, to see if Grant County would allow us to write a go
That would
after.
be my suggestion, since it is considered.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with it. It has to come through Grant County, but then our information stuff, Larry Emery's got most of our, so he does our state grant work.
Okay. You know, I'm guessing too, I mean, if they need letters of support, probably it would be good for the commissioners to write a letter of support.
Okay, great. And also, Commissioner Lynn, I believe that Chief Johnson explained to me that you were able to obtain a grant to build something on Stokola, the fire station. Am I right on that?
No, he actually financed.
Oh, you actually financed. Okay.
We did get some grant funding, but that was back in 2000. And back then, it was not hard to get a little bit of money, but we actually got grant money to actually build the interior of the building.
Okay.
And the outside of the building stuff, we actually had to finance it.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you then. We'll proceed and come back to you with what we find, if that's what you want me to do.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
If you find extra money, you can go it
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion items.
Madam Chair, if I may, Mr. Groves did not get to comment during the public hearing for the revow. Would you like to say?
No, that's okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
No other public comment? Okay. Madam Chair, would you like me to proceed with the discussion item? Yes, ma'am. All right, we have releases of $1,079.24 and discoveries of $5,956.21 that needs action.
Do I hear a motion to approve the releases of $1,079.24 and the discoveries of $5,956.21?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
All right, we need to approve, the board to approve a poll accepting agreement with the Southwestern Commission for EDC services.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve that poll. Is there anything you need to mention about that, Clerk?
No.
Chris, okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the poll with Southwestern Commission EDC Services.
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
So,
All in favor?
All right. Update on renaming falls. As you know, I provided that. It's Sept, LeBlanc Falls, and Stewart Falls accepted.
Is there any further discussion to be had on that?
The remaining one is the one that, the one that they, I think we had some people wanting to name it after a person that had been killed up there, or after a daughter, I believe. Yeah, so that's not been decided yet.
Okay. So we have agreed on Santigua, Bluff Falls, and Stewart Falls. Motion to accept that, please.
It's just an update.
It's just an update. That's
Have we already voted?
this is the name we submitted.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
If they had another for another call.
Yeah.
Who determined?
I say the
U.S. Geological.
Yeah, U.S. Geographic. It's different from actually the.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Geographic Names Information System. So it is based board on geographic names. There actually is a board for that.
I like
And
the
we got
word
the
thing.
one that Marshall.
Yeah, that's
Marshall
good.
got a name for us.
You're right. All right. Last item is new or old business.